For centuries, Alderaan stood as a beacon of hope in the Republic. But the Empire came.
I have chosen to test this station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan.
Peace while you suffer. The Emperor drowns you in black waters.
He wants me to be Darth Revan again. Serve him as I did centuries ago. He made me a Sith Lord and named me Darth Revan.
The Force does not control you. You saved Ugantia using something you thought was important. But your motives are still aligned with the Jedi Code.
To arms, men! Defend the throne!
Anakin Skywalker was weak. I destroyed him.
He was weak and foolish like his father. So I destroyed him.
Master Windu, you have fought gallantly. Worthy of recognition in the archives of the Jedi. It is finished.
To them it is.
I have been waiting for you. Is it true that he is the chosen?
Hey guys, it's Alex, back with another episode of State of the Galaxy, episode number 22. Today I'm joined by Guy.
Hello.
And Matt.
Hello.
So Matt, you are back for your second episode, whereas Guy, you're back for your third.
This is my third,
This is my first.
No, you've had a... You don't remember being on that episode? We did like a whole thing for the Han Solo trailer at yours. Okay, so Matt doesn't remember what episode he's been on.
Must have been a Sunday morning, it must have been slightly...
I think it was a Saturday night, actually. But no, that's fair enough. So today we're going to do an episode that I like to call Hello Beastie. And today we're going to be focusing on the big...
Called what?
I'll have to say it again, in the pirate accent.
Do it with the Johnny Depp pirate accent.
Hello Beastie.
Can you do it walking around that corner with the walk? And I say as you walk around.
Aren't you breaking cross-franchise rules, though, bringing in one Disney product to
No, it's
advertise
fine.
another Disney product?
Like, I go worse. Sometimes I bring in like Harry Potter and stuff. It's fine. So
Pirate Wars, Age of Ultron.
So today we're going to be focusing on the large creatures within the Star Wars universe. Though, Matt, you haven't seen the Clone Wars series, you've obviously seen Attack of the Clones, where we've had large creatures within the Geonosian Battle Arena.
Yes.
And you've also seen small snippets with big creatures like the underwater pterodactyl-like animals that are on Kamino.
Yes. And the Tauntauns.
And, of course, the Rancor from Return of the Jedi. But there's a couple...
And the bigger fish.
And there's always a bigger fish. But there are a couple today that I want to focus on. But first of all, I was curious, out of all the creatures that you've seen within the Star Wars universe, which ones are your personal favourites? So not ones you want to have around, but just on-screen favourites.
On-screen favourites. I like the Rancor. The Rancor's really cool. It's kind of, although it's like mean and wants to eat things, and the way it eats that kind of... was it the Gamorrean guard?
Yeah.
Like, and he's just crunching it. Oh, that was disgusting. Actually, that's pretty gross. But it was well done.
I'd like to see an episode. You know the guy who gets upset when it dies?
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to see an episode of him just like giving it head scratches and just kicking around.
You know what they used to do with
chasing the ball.
the old Austin Powers movies where the bodyguards used to die,
Yeah.
and you used to get like a snippet to the family. It's like what happens to like Rancor families.
It goes back
what's
to-
their,
it
what's
goes
their
back to the
first
farm
Christmas
and
without
doesn't
the
it?
Rancor? Like, you know, it's the first Christmas.
Opens up a little
without
baby
Mr.
Rancor.
There's probably more of the family members there if the Rancor isn't there. Like, Granny doesn't get eaten this time.
Because it was actually pretty sad when he got killed.
It was, yeah. And there's actually quite a lot about that particular humanoid.
Humanoid?
Yeah, it was a human. Like the you're talking about the owner.
Yeah.
Oh, about Rancor.
He apparently used to break out of his cell during the night and take it for runs in the desert. And after the Rancor died, he went wandering in the desert. He didn't actually die on Jabba's sail barge. He went wandering around the desert and was going to end his life when he came into contact with an old friend, and they set up a restaurant together.
Oh, interesting. And that's where they serve those tiny little toads that hang out outside Jabba's palace.
But yeah, so yours be the Rancor. Matt, what would yours be in terms of favourite creature?
I quite like the sort of like the like saber-tooth-ish thing that's in the arena when
Oh yes, I can't remember the name of the creature, but I know which one you're talking about. The one that has the rat tail.
Yes.
The one that scratches Pepe across the back. I don't know. I've always tried to figure out how many eyes that thing has because it looks like it has more than 2.
Yeah.
It does have more
Yeah.
than 2, but I can't remember. It's been quite a few years since I tried to erase that from my memory, so...
One day I'm going to have someone on the podcast and they're going to sit down and they're going to be like, I like Attack of the Clones because we've finally found the one. Okay, so my personal one would either be, again, the Rancor or a creature known as the Zillo Beast, which appeared in the Clone Wars series. Now, I've got a couple of pictures that, yes, I will throw into the podcast for you guys who are watching. This is the Zillo Beast. It has 6 limbs. That's including its tail with 8 spines on the back. And it also has a third...
Wait, sorry, does that mean it has 5 legs?
It has an extra.
It has
random
3
leg.
arms.
That's
So
asymmetrically
does that leg?
insulting.
Is that its third leg there?
The third leg protrudes from the back. So you've got the 2 arms like regular arms, and then you've got the
So it's got a
third,
third leg on its back.
third arm. It's an arm because it doesn't use it to walk. It just uses it to pick up things.
Does it walk on all 4s or all
Yeah,
5s?
it walks on all 4s, and then the 5th one, like I said, sticks out from the back.
Oh,
Kind of like one of the fish with the glowing ball.
Yeah.
So it has 6 deadly. Did I say 8? So 6 deadly claws that are on the back spines, and it actually has.
Well, there's 8 in that picture.
Maybe 8.
It does appear, I'm going to go with Matt, it does look like 8. Might be wrong.
You fool.
And it actually has 3 eyes. So the third eye is situated somewhere around the nose there.
Right.
No, it's not because I'm looking at the wrong show notes.
Excellent.
That's for a different creature.
So he's been describing completely the wrong creature. Such a professional we've got
You know what
today.
you should have done?
Is
You should just carried on, but then flicked a different.
Yeah, we're talking about a different creature. Sorry. So it's
You are
now
talking about the Zillo Beast. That is the Zillo Beast.
That is
so
the
you
Zillo
named
Beast.
it right. You just described it wrong.
horribly. So
Okay.
going back to how it is actually described, it's 97 meters tall. It does have 8 spikes on the back, and it's indigenous to the same planet that the Dugs are. So I don't know if you remember seeing a Dug within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
That
it's
was
like
Sebulba.
Zabulba.
Yeah. And
What planet are they from though?
they're
Because
from the planet Malastare.
that's it, with the 3-eye people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because weren't they like a slave undercult?
what, the Dugs?
Yeah.
Not within that episode that I saw, possibly at one point, but in that episode,
I thought they were like a kind of worker class to the Malastarians upper class. I don't know where I'm getting this information from. It comes from my head somewhere.
I'm not too sure either. From the episode, they were portrayed as being warriors, and the reason why the Zillo Beast was there at all was because they were testing out a electro projection bomb that they dropped into a canyon to test on the droids. So it was basically
So
like
they
an
weapon
EMP
test on animals.
No, because the Zillo Beast, as far as the Dugs were aware, the Zillo Beast had been extinct for hundreds of years. This was the last of its kind. And when the bomb was dropped, it opened up a sinkhole, which then released the Zillo Beast.
Okay.
So,
Wait. Why would an electromagnetic bomb open up a hole in the ground?
I mean, go to Dave Filoni and ask him.
Okay, never mind.
I'm not too sure on that front. Most of my research is just on the Zillo Beast
Because
itself.
it's electro sound. Have you not seen that stuff
Electro-
these
oh,
days?
yes. Forgive me for my,
They forgot that
my
their
ignorance of
entire,
electro sound.
the entire underneath of their planet was actually mechanical.
Yeah.
They just released that part of the Earth. And it's it was revealed within the 2 episodes that the Zillo Beast was on some level sentient.
Yeah.
And this was based around the fact that when Chancellor Palpatine, who came into contact with it when they captured it, said something about harvesting its scales or doing possible experiments on it, it turned around and gave him a glare. And then when it broke out, any images that it saw of Palpatine throughout the streets, like making public speeches, it targeted until it found him and then went directly after him. So like I said, it has 6 appendages. The tail it used in a defensive or attacking mode. And the beast's scales, or its armour, are impenetrable to lightsabers, explosives, or laser bullets. So it was of interest to Chancellor Palpatine, but we don't know why. My theory is that he was planning to use the scales for the Death Star or for Star Destroyers or something of that effect.
Or Stormtrooper armor.
He did talk about Clone Trooper armour, so it's very possible.
So, if it's the last of its kind,
Yes.
but its armour's almost indestructible,
Yes.
How is it
how's
the
it
last
the
of its
last of its kind?
Again, never
Well,
speculate.
an EMP went off.
Of course, yeah. Yes, we've got this highly armoured thing, but it's subject to electromagnetic pulses.
So, but after, because the creature did unfortunately have to be put down.
Got it.
Go
They
for it.
died out because they're impenetrable. They couldn't.
Yes, that's-
It couldn't copulate. But after its death, because it had to be put down, it was rampaging through the undercity of Coruscant after it broke out.
How do they put it down?
Huh?
How do they put it down?
They put it down with gas. So they used the gas to subdue it, but the gas that they used, the amount that they used, I believe is how it played out, didn't completely put it under and infuriated it, giving it the strength in order to break out. But they then got a more concentrated version of it, which they then used to put the beast down eventually. And it was in a very kind of King Kong-like fashion. It was, at that moment, it was climbing the Senate building, and then they shot it down and gassed it, and then it fell. But after its death, Chancellor Palpatine, like I said, ordered it. He actually ordered it to be cloned, so that he could then harvest the scales. But after the war ended and then the Galactic Empire was established, the Doctor, I can't pronounce her first name, but her surname is Bol, so I'm just going to refer to her as Bol. It says on her information page that her usefulness came to an end, so I don't know whether that necessarily meant that Palpatine had her executed.
Probably would have been a scientific liability.
Probably. Because she sympathised with the creature and didn't want to do what he ordered. But he said, if you don't do it, I'll find someone who will.
Fair enough.
So that's a Zillo Beast. Got a couple more images there for you, like his association with Chancellor Palpatine.
Yeah.
His
It's quite big, actually.
yeah, they're big old creatures, and that's the first appearance on Ryloth. Sorry, Ryloth. That's a different planet. Malastare, and that's the full length of the creature.
That's pretty huge, actually.
Yeah.
They actually look pretty cool. I've seen Clone Wars. I don't remember this episode. I have to go back and watch them.
Well, something that I've learned about Clone Wars, and Bob told me this, is that if you're watching it on DVD, for whatever reason, the play all function means absolutely nothing. There are hidden episodes, full-length episodes. In season 1, there are 2 that aren't included in the play all function. You have to find them through the episode selection screen.
That's a little bit weird because I've got them on DVD. Episode series 1 to 5.
Yeah,
You're not going to have to go through and look at each.
I think I'm going to have to go through and look at each one.
Well, because you've got, like with most episodic DVDs, you've got the back cover that has the list. So by all means, have a look at those and compare them to the episode list and see whether you're in fact getting the full Clone Wars experience. Because apparently I wasn't until very recently.
Bummer.
So we're going to move on to another one of my favourite creatures, and it's a shame that it hasn't been brought up yet, but it's the Accolade from the Geonosian Arena. That's the first and only real live action appearance we've had of that creature.
What was that one? Is that the big mantis-like
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
That's cool.
Did either of you play the original Battlefront 2 for
Yes.
PS2 and
Yes.
Xbox?
Yes.
Did either
I
of you?
mean the good Battlefront.
Yeah, the good
game.
Battlefront 2.
The non-money grabbing EA scum game. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I still play it when my brother comes back. We still crack out the old PlayStation 2, dust it off, and
We
play
still
Battlefront 2
play
for
it,
3 hours.
don't we? Because I bring it over for the 360. But the one of the Rise of the Empire missions, I think it's one of the first ones. You're on Felucia and you have to battle back a horde of these creatures,
Yes.
and you get to fully appreciate just how menacing they are and how relentless they are in their attack. But they're not actually indigenous to Felucia at all within new canon. But they have 6 deadly claws, those are the ones with the 3 eyes, and they actually have an organ that's beneath the chin, which they use to sense the body electricity of their prey.
Okay, that's cool.
So perhaps that reinforces why the Accolade was so relentless against Obi-Wan. It sensed him, saw him, and that was his target.
Yeah.
And they also have stretchy stomachs as well, which is probably just so they can store a lot of food if they're on a planet. They're actually water-based mainly, so imagine that. That's awful. You're just going for a swim and then
Get
like
one of those
stabbed
too.
into your leg and dragged under.
So where are they indigenous to, or does it not say?
There's the name there. I can't pronounce it. It's the one with a V.
The one with the V, Vendaxa.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the planet. But they have, in original canon, they have been known to be indigenous to Felucia as well. And they're strong enough, obviously, to smash stone, because there was that scene where it rammed into one of the pillars that they've been chained up to, and it was easily able to knock that over. Do you believe that it would have been possible to ride that creature as a mount? Because something that Rebels and the overall Star Wars universe has opened up to us a bit more is that some animals are trainable and can be calmed down with the use of the Force.
I don't think so. I don't
No?
think. No, it seems a little bit too wild, a little bit untamable. Otherwise, they probably would have tried to do that.
Okay.
Having said that, though, they were in the heat of a battle.
It might have been so wild because if it is water based, it isn't.
Yeah, where's my water?
Yeah.
And it was probably tortured beforehand.
Yeah, apparently there was a mating couple on Geonosis, so they actually had more than one, but one of those was killed by Obi-Wan.
They're going to do a spin-off series for the
Revenge
other
of the Mantis.
Yeah.
The female one goes, tracks Obi-Wan down, old Ben to Tatooine.
She found it funny.
Final showdown. But you say that it probably would have been too wild, but the Rancors were trained by the Night Sisters, at least in original canon, to be mounts. They could ride them. So it's not entirely impossible. I'm sure there are creatures within the Star Wars universe.
I suppose it depends on how you're trying to train them, because maybe Jedi and light side Force wielders will try and tame them.
Yeah.
Whereas dark side users like the Night Sisters
Punish him into submission.
will try and dominate them into submission.
Yeah.
Maybe it works differently.
Perhaps. And the last one, and there isn't all that much information here about the creature, but it's known as the Kalor Slug, which is indigenous to 3 planets, but one of them was Korriban. So I'm guessing you remember Korriban from the Old Republic. And
Yeah.
Korriban was very similar to, imagine a combination of Jakku, Tatooine, and Geonosis. Very sand-based, but it had a great amount of temples on it as well, because it was the original home planet of the Sith. And they were worm-like creatures. They were propelled by dangerously edged legs, so they could be used as stabbing implements, and they had mouths filled with rings of teeth, so like the Kraken.
Are they the things that?
Yes, they
Yeah,
are, yes.
yeah.
So I
Those
forget
little
that you
slug
played a
things
little bit.
in the starting zone of the Old Republic game.
Yes, but I believe they're more the red ones as opposed to the tanned ones, so the slightly more advanced ones you get further into the cave systems. Okay, so in terms of your own personal preferences then, which creatures would you like to have as mounts, and which ones would you like to have as familiars?
The first one for both.
I don't know, I think if you have a Rancor mount and a Rancor familiar, you're just kind of unbeatable.
You are a
aren't
bit,
you?
yeah.
Unless you're going against Luke Skywalker that's got 2 rocks and 2 portcullises.
Yeah.
Well, you said that, but that was a skull that he used to take down that door.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
It looked like a rock.
If you pause it as the rock or skull is sailing towards the button.
Oh no, I'm thinking about the polystyrene rock that he uses to whack
Oh, sorry, yeah.
to whack his hand.
Yeah.
To whack his finger away.
But yeah, it is a skull that it's actually
Yeah,
a skull
yeah.
of, I think, one of the original owners
Oh.
that he uses to...
Even the propper's got backstory. It's unbelievable. It's great.
Okay, well, let's say this then. Your mount can obviously be as large as you want it to be, but your familiar has to at least be the same height as you.
Okay.
It can't be any taller.
So no Wookiee familiars.
Very not. I mean,
About Wookiee mounts.
I'll go for a Tom.
Yeah, Tom
Best
mount.
familiar ever.
Oh, you want it as a familiar? Tom's are taller than people.
No, what I would have as a mount is one of those flying manta ray things on Alderaan.
Oh yeah, the flying space whales.
Yeah, the flying space whales.
Okay. Well, what about a familiar then?
A familiar, no, that one's a little bit trickier. An Ewok.
Yeah.
Because an Ewok can kill a stormtrooper, no problem. 'Cause, you know,
Ewok can kill many stormtroopers,
you know,
no problem.
a tribe of Ewoks managed to take down a galactic empire. Don't knock it. But no, Ewoks were kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd really have an Ewok. I don't know. The familiar one's tricky. So there's a little companion that you would have with you all the time.
Yeah. Doesn't necessarily have to be combat based because an Ewok could be useful also at finding supplies in a wooded area, as
In
they are
small
indigenous.
places.
Oh, then I'd have an Ugnaught.
Remind me.
Aren't they the little pig things that they have on Bespin? Is that what they're called? Ugnaughts?
Oh,
The little
those.
pig dudes.
Yeah, the ones that work.
They are called Ugnaughts, aren't they? I think
I'm
they
not
are.
too sure what their name, but those would be quite good because they're
like
techies to
yeah, they're
some
natural
extent.
techies. So you know,
So
they
that
can
would
just
be super.
build your stuff.
Yeah. Build me
Fix this, Ugnaught. Yeah. So funny.
What about you?
Well, I have a Tonton as my mount. As a familiar,
The familiar one's difficult, isn't it?
It is, because lots of the Star Wars creatures are taller than normal humanoids. I mean, I'm even struggling to think of a familiar right now. That isn't a porg.
It isn't a porg, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, one of the little wolf-like things in the last film.
Oh, what, the crystal critters?
Yeah.
Okay, no, fair enough. I mean, they're good at finding ways out of cave systems, as we saw in the film.
It's a very specific skill set,
It
though. If
is,
you're not
yeah.
trapped on a cave, they're kind of useless.
They're on Tatooine.
No, they're not. You just win a big battle. You want to celebrate? Oh no disco ball.
No disco ball. Well, you're just going to just
swallow
spring
it
your
right.
familiar up and then just flick it round.
You grab a Wookiee and just get him to catapult in the air.
Brilliant. Okay, so for me, my mounts of choice, I think it would be the Rancor for the mount. And then for the familiar, I'd probably go with a Lothal cat. Which is so cute.
What's a Lothal cat?
You see them in the first series and second series of Star Wars Rebels, I believe. They're the brown cats that Ezra encounters on the planet Lothal.
Oh yeah. I know.
But
what
I
you mean
believe they can be influenced with the use of the Force as well. So when he first meets it, it's very kind of hostile, but then I think when he meets it later on, he's able to kind of calm it down.
Yeah, I remember those now. Yeah, they were kind of cute.
I find animals interesting that because the Force is a living thing, as Qui-Gon kind of changed for us in terms of the grand scheme of the Force, that it's a energy field that exists around all living things. So it doesn't matter how.
It makes sense that there are force-sensitive animals.
I think it's sad that you have to use the Force to make a cat your friend.
You don't have to, but as they're
They
indigenous.
don't work with food. They don't work with cuddles because they'll just turn like that because cats are bastards.
But as they were at that time indigenous to a planet that was occupied by the Empire, they were probably all just naturally hostile anyway. The Empire sucks. But anyway, and in terms of animals that you would like to see more of, because I know it's not necessarily animals, but aliens that we haven't been seeing much of in the newer films. Lots of people said with the Canto Bite scene in Star Wars Episode 8, there were no original Star Wars aliens or humanoids.
Was there not at all?
I don't believe so, no. Not that I saw. They were all new creatures. Are there any animals that you want to see making a reappearance?
Yeah, the little blue elephant thing.
Yeah, the one that played the piano.
Yes. What's it? Is it Max Rebo?
I think
it's
so,
Max
yeah.
Rebo.
Max
Rebo
Rebo
band.
I'd
yeah,
love
the Max
it.
Rebo elephant things.
I'd love
They were
it.
cool.
If they go onto the planet that the Cantina people are from.
Oh, because I don't
And
suppose
the
they
whole,
are indigenous too.
the whole film,
Planet is just...
there's constant music from the Cantina.
I think that would drive everybody insane. Because weren't they designed on the stereotypical like
alien premise,
things
yeah.
with the big heads and the bug eyes and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff?
Because a lot of those animals and creatures that you see, especially in the cantina scene, were just whipped together. I mean, if you look properly at some
There's
of
a
those
werewolf.
creatures- there was a werewolf. There was a devil.
Yeah.
There was.
Although they've got backstory now, because one
Yeah.
of those turns up in the Old Republic. I think he's one of the bounty hunters. Is it the bounty hunter? Yeah, the bounty hunter storyline. He's one of the companions.
But a lot of the old, I mean, I suppose it's only natural, but a lot of the new Star Wars canon and the expanded stuff, it's just made up of characters that you see just once. Like, for example, Quinlan Vos, who you see on Tatooine for a second, and now he's a Jedi Knight. And
Is Quinlan Vos actually in Star Wars then?
yeah,
Where? When?
he's during the Tatooine scene where Sebulba's about to beat up Jar Jar, like one of the only good scenes of that film.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there, just chilling.
Do you
That's
remember
Yeah.
back at school when Alex used to love Jar Jar Binks?
I do remember that.
No, that's not a thing.
Yes, it is.
That was a thing.
Why would I like Jar Jar though?
I don't know. Why would you? Why did you?
Don't know, because I don't remember that
Oh, let's see.
at all.
It's compartmentalisation, isn't it, of his brain?
But so if we wrap up this episode on creatures, is there anything else you want to add in terms of creatures you might like to see? Maybe make a return. I mean,
There's one alien creature that I hate,
yeah. Okay, go for it.
other than Jar Jar.
Okay.
And it's one of these creatures that took something mystical and otherworldly about the Star Wars universe and then just kind of slapped real worldness into it, and it was stupid. And that is the two-headed commentator of the pod race. That character is just a sin. it's just rubbish. It's just rubbish. Like the whole thing about Star Wars is it's in a galaxy far, far away. It's completely different. But let's stick in and shoehorn in this stereotypical, like the two-man commentator for American sports teams thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's just stupid. It's just stupid. So yeah, as a creature and as a premise, like it's dumb. It's just dumb.
There are two creatures that I thought I'd bring up at the end of this episode. The first one being the Fathiers, which we all saw in Star Wars Episode 8. And lots of people, of course, hate the whole Canto Bite stuff. But what did you think? Because I was rewatching that scene, and I didn't realise that, because I love Canto Bite, I think it's bright, beautiful, I love seeing all the aliens and creatures and whatever. I completely glazed over the story that Rose was telling, and I thought she was telling about a story about animals and how they were mistreated, but it turns out she's actually telling a story about how her sister and her's planet was used as like a bombing run by the First Order, and it seemed like really out there. I know the kind of loose connection where it's like these are people being mistreated, but it had nothing to do with animals. She never mentioned animals once. And she obviously knew the Fathiers, but then she never told Finn why or how. It wasn't like she saw the Fathiers again. It was like, oh, this is really horrible because they're being mistreated here as they were on my planet with my sister or whatever. But in terms of the Fathiers as creatures, just overall, what did you think?
I thought they were pretty cool.
They were able to scale cliff faces that are like that. They're fairly durable. There was one that did kind of like a jump into a speeder and it blew up and seemed fine.
Carried on running.
Yeah. And when you first see them, they're a practical effect, which was quite cool. I think that's something that, although the new films have a lot of fault, that's something that I'm glad they continue to try and do, is the practical effects as much as they're able to.
It's in like not have everything CGI.
Yeah.
People are just, I know the technology's getting better, but people are just aware when things aren't real, just intrinsically, and if they know that things aren't real,
They won't enjoy it.
well, it's not, it just detaches them a little bit from it. There's a lot to be said, maybe it's because I'm a little bit older, but there's a lot to be said for seeing a physical thing do something in a movie than something that's CGI'd. Do you know what I mean?
And that's why the original trilogy was so great, because
They used cardboard cutouts.
well, that, and also when they couldn't create a mechanized creature like the Rancor that was to scale, they did stop motion with a creature that was about 10 centimetres, 20 centimetres off the table.
Yeah.
And they made it look menacing and stuff, instead of looking at... I know you can see some of the clunkiness of it, especially
Well, it's
the
like,
Tauntauns and
although this is a
stuff
completely different franchise, a vastly superior franchise in many ways. Like the original Lord of the Rings movies. For
Okay,
example.
fair. I wasn't sure if you're going to go to Star Trek there. I was like,
That's a better franchise too. It's just a little bit more inconsistent. No, it's just as inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's just as inconsistent.
but yeah, Lord of the Rings.
I would say the best moments of Star Trek are better than the best moments of Star Wars.
Does that hurt you?
I know it hurts a little bit. But having said that, the worst moments of Star Trek are far worse than the worst moments of Star Wars by a long way. Just watch the episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation with Beverly Crusher, and you're like, "Hang on a minute, is this Star Trek or is this what am I watching? This is a crazy TV." That's much better than like the dumb. That's better than Jar Jar.
Wow. I wasn't sure if you were going to talk about the singing "Row, row, row your boat" from one of the films. But they did.
That's stupid as well. That's also stupid. But anyway, what was I saying? No, yeah, the Lord of the Rings. Obviously, they used a lot of CGI, but as much as possible, they had people in rubber costumes.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the big battle scenes were CGI, but although the big battle scenes were CGI, like Minas Tirith and all
The close-ups were...
like they built models, like freaking great 12-foot models that they filmed around and stuff. Like that sort of detail.
The
physicality makes things a bit more real because it is real.
It also shows that the filmmakers have got a bit more love put into it because they've gone to the effort of doing that. And the amount of detail that they can introduce, because it's easy to film something on a green screen and then have someone else go on and be like, okay, I'm just going to add this detail and stuff. But because the actors can maybe see it, even if it's not to scale, it makes it a bit more genuine, not just for them, but also for us as viewers. And last of all, creatures I wanted to raise, and I don't know if I raised it with you when we did our 2 podcasts, but they're known as the Star Weirds.
No, I don't think you mentioned those. What were they?
And the Star Weirds were from original canon, and imagine Slender Man, David Jones, and just a general ghost mixed in together. The only reason why I say David Jones is because they're able to phase through walls. Slender Man because they have the same kind of physique as Slender Man. The only things that set them apart is that their faces, when you see them, they try and mimic a face of either you or the person that you love or are most connected to.
So me.
Yeah. They have long grey wavy white hair, and they usually attacked people that were either broken down in space or in hyperspace itself. They would phase through the walls. They have long serrated fingernails that they would then stab through people and then bring them closer. But you could just say, okay, why wouldn't you run away? Why wouldn't you go and shut yourself away and kind of like a blaster or whatever? When the creatures first appear, they let out an ear-piercing scream, but if it doesn't make your ears bleed, it can drive you insane.
But they can phase through doors, you said. So it doesn't matter if you run away.
Not energy doors, I don't believe.
But
Because
then
I
you
think
can
that's
just
how
go
they've been
down
feed-
through
They
the floor.
just phase through the wall next to the energy
Yeah.
door.
Okay, well, assuming that it's like an energy box.
An energy box, a Schrodinger's energy box.
Yeah, Pandora's box.
I'm not
They
alive
shouldn't-
or dead yet.
They shouldn't be
Yeah.
able to get it. But they are also force sentient. But they're also
So how? Because these things can stab you with their
Yes.
meg-like fingernails.
Yes.
Paralyse you.
Yes.
Paralyse you with their screams.
Yes.
Walk through walls.
Yes.
They're force sensitive.
Yes.
They can mimic people's faces.
Yes.
How are they not controlling the universe with all these OP Mary Sue powers that they've got?
because they are few and far between,
Just as well, really.
and they can be killed with the use of a lightsaber.
Is that it?
I think that is
Because
it.
lightsabers as weapons are also kind of rare.
They are kind of rare, yeah. But the only people that would be
And
able
also,
to...
to be able to use it when you're paralysed and something that goes through walls.
You say that, but I
difficult as
believe a Jedi's connection to the Force would make their first attack fairly redundant, or at least not as potent as it would be towards a normal spacefaring traveller.
Where do these pop up? Because I've never seen them before.
They are in a very, very tucked away bit of the original Star Wars.
Okay.
I think they appeared in passing. I think they were told to children as like a scary story.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, so they're not real.
Well, they were real. They did happen in the Star Wars canon, the original Star Wars canon. So they haven't appeared yet in the new canon. But there was something else. Because they are force sentient, they can use powers like force lightning. They can send out visions and things like that. But even though they are force sentient, they would target a force sentient being more than they would someone who doesn't have the force.
Right.
So they actively hate creatures or people that have a deeper force connection, and they would go out and target them.
They sound freaking terrifying.
They are, yes. And I think they were one of the first studies that we did for the Light of the Saber page, and there's something that I'm going to have crop up through various ideas and productions. But in terms of a creature, isn't that one of the most terrifying ones that Star Wars could probably throw at us?
It is pretty much. It is pretty scary. It's like, oh, let's take all the scary things from various different scary things and mold them in to make one super scary thing.
I think there was a space. I think that's how the Star Weirds disappeared. There was a Star Weird queen that didn't have much of a defining physical attribute apart from the fact that I think she was slightly taller or she had slightly longer hair. She was. It says she was defeated, doesn't say killed, by a Jedi, and then the Star Weirds just kind of scattered.
Fair enough.
Oh, gee, look at that.
Slightly more powerful than we thought. And I don't think they were ever seen again after that. But I'd love to see them come back. And when I posted that, lots of people said, "Oh, they're too scary for the Star Wars current canon. Kids wouldn't like that."
That's because it's all for kids now.
It is, but
It's always been for kids.
it's always
Yes,
been
but-
for kids. And
Big kids.
It's always been for kids. That's what. But I think when it comes to Star Wars, I think that's what snotty old adults forget. It's,
Yeah.
it was
for
meant for kids.
That's
You
what I was
know,
having a discussion with
the
a guy at work the other day
the
about.
original Star Wars was designed for kids in the 70s, and the prequels was designed for kids that were kids when you guys. when
That's
did
why
it-
you like Jar Jar.
How old were you guys when Episode 1 came out? Would it come out 1999?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, so I was 4.
Yeah, so it's probably just a little bit, but you would have. That's probably why you like Jar Jar, honestly, because she was 4 when Episode 1 came out. A 4-year-old Jar Jar's funny. To anyone that's older than like 5,
He's extremely offensive.
he's annoying as hell. And I was obviously much older. I would have
Yeah.
been like 14.
And plus, also, unlike us, you came into the prequels after having seen the originals.
Yeah.
Whereas probably, I don't know about you, but
I saw the originals.
Oh, you saw the originals. Well, you're very lucky because for me, it was unfortunately the prequels that I saw first. You would have had that expectation, perhaps not as intense as it is with Star Wars fans now with the newer films, but at least some expectation of what to expect and some
See,
kind of
'cause I'm of a
standard.
generation. I was born in a generation where I missed Star Wars, the original trilogy in the cinema, so I watched them on video at home sort of thing, so I never got the Star Wars cinematic experience until episode 1 came out. I mean, I always loved the Star Wars trilogy. My mum made me watch the first one when I was 4 because she loved it. And yeah, I only ever saw the old ones on TV, but I appreciate them for what they were and I loved them and I still love them. And then when I went to the cinema as like a 14-year-old to see episode 1, I was probably just a little bit too old to love it and find the magic. I was just like, oh, that bit's cool, that bit's cool, that bit's cool. Pod race is cool, but too long, doesn't really serve the story, and Jar Jar's annoying. And why is C-3PO built by Anakin? That's dumb. Like, not everybody knows everybody else. It's a big galaxy. That irritated me. Even as a 14-year-old, I'm like, that idea is really stupid. Greedo's there. That's also really stupid.
Was that confirmed as Greedo?
Yeah.
That's actually confirmed as
Greedo.
Do they?
I'm almost 100% certain that they call him Greedo at some point.
Because I'm funny you should mention that scene, because George Lucas...
It didn't just have to be some other one of those aliens. What are they? Nemoidians?
Rhodians, yeah.
It's not just some other random Rhodian. It just
be the one
happens
that's
to be. It
already
has
been
to be
there.
the one that happens to be in it, and you're like, oh, for goodness sake! It's a big galaxy, guys. A long time ago, in a really, really small galaxy, where there's only 20 people and they all know each other. It's really irritating.
But to wrap up this episode with something that I found out today, and it's not really on the creature front, but I'm guessing that you both know that George Lucas's children have made appearances in the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, like doesn't his son play that little Padawan that
They get shot in the throat. Father love right there.
Yeah.
But his daughter actually plays multiple parts. The one that most stands out is the big blue senator that's in the meet and greet party when...
the big fat one?
Yeah. But
You get shot in the throat, you can be big and fat.
she did get padded out quite a lot for that role, though. But she's played 2 other roles. She played one of the Twi'leks that looks at Anakin as he passes in the cantina when he's tracking down the Changer in Attack of the Clones. And she also plays, and this is the most annoying part that she plays, so I just hate this character, she plays the girl with the braces that's with Greedo when they're talking about the pod racer. It's like, you've been working on that thing for years, she's never going to run.
Oh, is that George Lucas?
That's George Lucas's daughter. But yeah, we'll wrap up this episode. So thank you very much, guys, for talking about creatures for a bit with me.
Yeah, no problem.
Whether you are Jedi or Sith, whether you are Empire or Rebel Scum, whether you are Resistance or First Order, we hope you have a very great day, evening, afternoon, whatever you guys are doing. May the Force be with you. See you guys next week.